Hola, ¿qué tal? Rockstar picante, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Hoy vamos a ver un video de un tipo que francamente me quito el sombrero. Es comiquísimo, irónico, es europeo, yo creo que es rumano, de Rumanía. Y el tipo es increíble, síguelo si puedes verlo, síguelo. El señor se llama Sebastián Sas. Sebastián Sas. Te lo voy a poner para que lo veas. Chequéalo, el tipo es buenísimo. Aquí puedes ver su nombre, Sebastián Sas. Eh, Buenísimo. Si hay alguien que sabe lo que está pasando en Europa en estos momentos, de una forma cómica, pero serio al mismo tiempo, es este señor, Sebastián Sas. Sebastian Sas, no sé cómo pronunciarlo. Sebastián Sas. Vamos a ver el video de él, vamos a reaccionar. Vi los primeros 10 segundos y dije, no, hombre, no, yo tengo que ver este tipo, tengo que verlo. Así que, sin más, vamos a ver a Sebastián Sas. Por favor, denle un like a Sebastián, síganlo por favor en YouTube o en Rumble o donde sea que esté, ¿ok?
This goes all the way back to the Crimean Wars, to Lord Palmerston. Those are the people who came up with this strategy of containing Russia. How do you contain Russia? Russia is about 50 times the size of you. And you're the one who wants to contain Russia. This is the bankrupt mindset that we have today in Europe. Hello my friends, I hope you're all doing well. Today is Sunday, the 2nd of March, and this is my first video update of the day. Just a couple of days ago, we've had a screaming match in between Donald Trump and the green t-shirt in the Oval Office for the entire world to see. And it was the most watched press conference in the history of press conferences. And for a good reason, I might add. And it seems that this exchange is now continuing from afar.
Yo te voy a dejar el link de este video y el link también de su página para que lo sigas. Vamos a darle apoyo. Tiene 100.000 seguidores. Este tipo debería tener 1.000.000. Es buenísimo.
From a distance, Volodymyr Zelensky stood there and thought to himself, maybe I didn't get my point across, so let me just have another crack at it. So he's put out a series of tweets, which amount to more rambling, similar to the one we've seen at the White House. Donald Trump, on the other hand, he took the opportunity and replied through an interview. So we're gonna take a look and see what happened there. By the way, at this moment of recording this video, Volodymyr Zelensky is in the good company of Keir Starmer in the United Kingdom, in London, patiently waiting for the Ukraine summit to begin, which we'll talk about tomorrow. But for now, let us go to our favorite place, Ukrainska Pravda, the beacon of democracy, the place of freedom. And let's see what Volodymyr Zelensky has tweeted. Quote, "It's crucial for us to have President Trump's support. He wants to end the war, but no one wants peace more than we do. We are the ones living this war in Ukraine. It's a fight for our freedom, for our very survival." What a load of nonsense. He's saying that it's crucial for Ukraine to keep Trump on their side. Well, if that's the case, then probably you shouldn't have gone to the White House and insulted the President of the United States in his home. Just a thought, you know? Then he's continuing and says, well, Trump wants to end the war, but believe me, the green t-shirt, nobody wants to end this more than we do. We want peace more than anybody else. Well, really, is that so? Because everything that we've seen, especially in the last few months since it became obvious, everything that you do points to the contrary. You're always the one to keep adding things, to keep making more demands. Well, we want peace, but we would like this as well. Well, we want peace, but it has to be in this way. That's not the behavior of somebody who wants to get this settled. And then the last part, my favorite part, is where he says, we feel the consequences of this war. We live it every day. Well, I don't know who we is, Mr. Zelensky, because you in particular, seem to be going from country to country, from summit to summit. I don't even know how much time you actually spend in Ukraine.
Así es, así es. Él dice nosotros los ucranianos. Bueno, yo no sé por qué él dice nosotros, porque él se la pasa en avión viajando de país en país, exigiendo que le den cosas, regalías, mesadas, para echar para adelante con su vida, por favor. De toda la razón. Sebastián, muy bien.
But that's neither here nor there. The point is, it's the Ukrainian people who have to endure all of this, not we, as in you, because you're not part of that group. I don't think your life resembles the life of an ordinary Ukrainian. Something tells me that's not the case. Zelensky added that Ukraine cannot change its position on Russia. Quote, I cannot change Ukraine's position on Russia. The Russians are deleting us. Russia is the enemy, and that's the reality we face. Ukraine wants peace, but it must be a just and lasting peace, of course. For that, we need to be strong at the negotiating table. Peace can only come when we know we have security guarantees, when our army is strong, and when our partners are with us. Our situation is tough, but we can't just stop fighting and not have guarantees that Putin will not return tomorrow. Nobody wants another wave of occupation. If we cannot be accepted to NATO, we need some clear structure of security guarantees from our allies in the United States. Well, first of all, you don't have allies in the United States. I just don't understand why it's so hard for him to comprehend this principle. You see, he always says that he's fighting for democracy. But if he knew anything about democracy, is that the American people have chosen Donald Trump to represent their interests. There's no one else. There's no allies in the United States. It's Donald Trump and nothing else. If you have Donald Trump on your side, then yes, US is your ally. If you don't have Donald Trump on your side, you don't have an ally in the United States. That's how it works. Democracy and all of that. He's the one defending democracy in Europe. This guy. He doesn't even understand how the system works. He thinks, well, Trump, we can put Trump aside. No, Trump is the voice of the American people. And then he proceeds to repeat this bullshit about wanting peace, even though in the same breath he's saying, well, these are our conditions. We need a strong army. We need the security guarantees. We need this, that, and the other. It's not the way it works. I don't recall a single instance in history, please correct me if I'm wrong, when the losing side was the side who came up with these conditions. No, when you lose, you have two options. Either you ask for peace yourself, or you go until there's nothing left. That's the real option. But of course, he's trying to prolong this for as long as possible. And he thinks he's the one in a position to tell Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin and everybody else what his position is. Nobody cares at this stage what your position is because your cards are weak, as Donald Trump said. Quote, we also need the US role in defining security guarantees, what kind, what volume, and when. Once these guarantees are in place, we can talk with Russia, Europe, and the US. I want the US to stand more firmly on our side. This is not just a war between our two countries. Russia brought this war onto our territories and into our homes. It's understandable the US might look for dialogue with Putin, but the US has always spoken about peace through strength, and together we can take strong steps against Putin. Finally, at last he has spoke something that resembles the truth. This is what he really wants. Those are his true intention. Everything else in the previous paragraphs was just nonsense. This is what he's really after. He wants the United States on his side to push it against Putin, and he couldn't be more clear about it. However, Donald Trump addressed this last part himself. Let's see what Donald Trump has to say about joining the green t-shirt on this crusade against Vladimir Putin. Trump, Putin wants to end war.
A mí me encanta cuando lo llama la camiseta verde, the green t-shirt. Me encanta, I love it. Me encanta.
While Zelensky wants to fight. In a conversation with reporters before his departure to Florida, Trump said he was seeking peace in the war between Russia and Ukraine. Quote, I want immediate peace. President Putin is going to want to make, and he wants to make. He wants to end it, and you saw what I saw today. This is a man, Zelensky, that wants to get us signed up and keep fighting, and we're not doing that. He added that, quote, we're not going to keep fighting. You're going to get that war done or let Ukraine go and see what happens. That was the perfect answer. Short, sweet, and to the point. Trump is basically saying, no, green t-shirt, I'm not joining you on your crusade against Putin. It ain't gonna happen. You can forget about it. But of course, Volodymyr Zelensky is not going to forget about it. He's gonna tell everybody in the world, just to buy more time, what he needs from the United States, even though Trump made it clear in the White House and in this interview that is not gonna happen. Trump knows what Zelensky is up to. He's trying to bait the United States deeper and deeper into the war. He wants the US to be on his side in the negotiations. Trump mentioned it in the White House. No, I'm in the middle. I need to show equal respect to both of you so I can get a deal done. My friends, this deal never looked so so far away as it looks now. And there's reasons I'm saying this. Volodymyr Zelensky is not gonna budge, because for him it would be the political end of him. So that's for sure. The Europeans are also rattling cages from their end. So even if Russia and the United States can agree upon something, I think that's gonna be in between them on a bilateral basis. And I can actually see this happening very quickly. There's been an article published in the New Voice of Ukraine, which I'm gonna cover in the second episode. Basically, some people in Ukraine are now creating a fundraiser for nuclear weapons. So again, this is not gonna go down easily. Point being, my main takeaway from all of this, from what we've seen in recent days, is that one thing is for certain. Volodymyr Zelensky himself will not budge. That's clear. So it's either gonna be elections in Ukraine, or this is gonna turn into something very dangerous very soon. Now, let us take a look at what Zelensky is doing in London. Britain will support Ukraine for as long as it takes, UK Prime Minister. Ahead of the talks, Keir Starmer assured Zelensky that the UK would continue to stand with Ukraine for as long as it may take, and that the UK was unwavering and determined to achieve a sustainable peace for Ukraine. Even Joe Biden realized the magnitude and the stupidity of those words, for as long as it takes, and then he walked them back. And you know, it became for as long as we can. But Keir Starmer says no, let me pick up the flag again and say it. Say, do what? For as long as it takes to achieve what? Why does nobody tell us what the goal is? How do they envisage the future of for as long as it takes? Viktor Orban was asked by Tucker Carlson about 2 weeks ago, "Hey Viktor, why do you think the British are so antagonistic towards the Russians?" And Viktor Orban smiled and said, "Well, I'm gonna give you the answer someday when I'm retired from politics." I think this is obvious, my friends. This goes all the way back to the Crimean Wars, to Lord Palmerston. Those are the people who came up with this strategy of containing Russia. How do you contain Russia? Russia is about 50 times the size of you, and you're the one who wants to contain Russia. This is the bankrupt mindset that we have today in Europe. It's just insane. And also, I want to address something. There's been people in the comment section who raised a good point. Maybe Zelensky is not signing that mineral deal with the United States because he has already committed to signing it with Keir Starmer, you know, the 100-year agreement. Personally, I don't buy into that theory, and I'm going to explain why. Whatever Zelensky signed with anybody, Starmer, Macron, whoever, most of those deals will just go down the drain the minute this is over. And there's a reason. Once this is over, there will only be two main parties who will have a say in how the situation looks going forward: Russia and the United States. And whatever's not in either one of these two countries' best interest will go down the drain. The 100-year deal, you're not going to hear about it for very much longer. I can promise you that. Maybe in 2 years, nobody will even remember it ever existed. And the same goes for most of the other things that Zelensky went around and signed with everybody. Zelensky thanked Starmer for his support and thanked King Charles III for agreeing to receive him. Quote, "We are very pleased to have such partners and friends," Zelensky said. All I'm gonna say on this one is that associating yourself with a green t-shirt in that manner, so close, is probably not a wise decision. But who am I to criticize? I'm just a guy giving his opinions on YouTube. My friends, I'll end this episode here. I wish you a really good rest of the day, and I'll see you in the second episode, where we're gonna talk about the green t-shirt, about Mark Rutte, and about Ukraine wanting, actually having started already a fundraiser for nuclear weapons. Take care and bye-bye. This goes on.
Bueno, yo te exhorto que vayas a la página de Sebastian Sas y te suscribas, dale apoyo, dile que en Latinoamérica también estamos de acuerdo con lo que él está diciendo. Como te puedes ver, tiene un sentido del humor seco, irónico. Ese es el mismo tipo de sentido del humor que tengo yo. Me encanta sus análisis. Dale apoyo. Dile que, dile que yo lo estoy chequeando porque no quiero que después me ponga un copyright o algo así. ¿Ok? Así que, thank you, Sebastián. Gracias, Sebastián, por tu análisis. Que tengas un buen día. ¿Ah? Y bueno, damas y caballeros, como te estaba diciendo y como te voy a decir, yo te lo dije ya hace varias semanas, ¿ok? Cuando todo esto termine, van a haber dos superpoderes creciendo simultáneamente, haciendo negocio. De un lado, lado occidental, va a estar Estados Unidos con el resto de América, Estados Unidos siendo el líder de América, desde Canadá hasta Tierra del Fuego, y Rusia va a mantener su control y va a desarrollarse y crecer en su área del hemisférico con todos los países bajo su influencia, todos los países están, Azerbaiyán, Kazajstán, etcétera, 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 etcétera. Ellos van a subir, van a ser dos superpotencias. En estos momentos nada más hay una superpotencia en el mundo y Biden casi lo destruye, es Estados Unidos. China está tratando de ser una superpotencia, está llegando a ser, digamos que China está en la etapa de adolescencia, ya el adulto es en los Estados Unidos, y Rusia, que era un superpoder, ha bajado a ser adolescente y está creciendo de nuevo para ser un superpoder. Eso es lo que va a existir en el mundo dentro de muy poco. No estoy hablando de la próxima semana, estoy hablando para la próxima generación de personas, los Zoomers, los Z, van a haber dos superpoderes claros. ¿Ah? Estados Unidos, si sigue como está, con su nacionalismo, su América primero, etcétera, etcétera, y por ende el resto de América Latina, y Rusia con su gente. Europa va a hacer su propia cosa. Europa ahorita mismo está en camino a autodestrucción, con excepción de países como Hungría, etcétera, etcétera, que están haciendo las cosas bien. África va a ser África, ahí hay que nuevamente partir África, Noráfrica y Suráfrica, ellos tienen su cuestión. Asia va a seguir siendo Asia. Tú no ves esa agenda progresista en Asia, ni en África, ni en ningún lugar así. Solamente en el Medio Oriente, en el Occidente, en Europa Occidental y Estados Unidos. ¿Por qué? Porque saben que esos son los dos hubs, ¿ok? Así que eso es lo que va a pasar. Esta guerra va a terminar pronto, te lo vengo diciendo desde hace rato. Zelensky va a recular. El idiota Starmer en Gran Bretaña no sabe lo que está haciendo. Macron, otro que no sabe lo que está haciendo. El nuevo Merck, no sé cómo se llama, el de Alemania también no sabe lo que está haciendo. Están tratando de mantenerse bajo esa influencia de la Europa unida. Europa no se va a unir, no se va a unir. Hay demasiadas culturas, demasiadas costumbres, demasiadas razas distintas en Europa. No se puede. Ellos no pueden ser otro Estados Unidos, que es lo que ellos querían hacer. ¿Ok? Está bien, me encantó, Sas, gracias por tu análisis, fue buenísimo. Te habló Robin, Rockstar Picante. Te voy a agradecer que por favor me apoyes, le des un like a este video. Sígueme en Rumble, sígueme en YouTube. YouTube siempre lo posteo horas y horas y horas después. En Rumble siempre primero. O en nada más redes sociales. Si te gustó este video, dime dónde quieres que te lo postee. En Facebook o en X o en TikTok o Instagram o lo que sea, yo te lo posteo. Si no te gustó, no hay problema. Escríbeme por qué no te gustó. Si te encantó, dime hola. Hey, hola de cualquier país, de donde estés y tenlo por seguro. Soy lo suficientemente pequeño para leer tus comentarios y para escribirte. Así que aprovechame que tengo ganas de hacer estas cosas porque, bueno, francamente, si no sigo creciendo, eso significa que no estoy alcanzando a nadie. Y si no estoy alcanzando a nadie, entonces de nada me sirve sentarme aquí enfrente de una cámara y un micrófono hablar paja, ¿no? Que tengas un lindísimo día. Hoy es domingo 2 de marzo. Bendiciones para ti y a toda tu familia. Nos vemos luego. Chao.